Hey guys, here's a fan you would have seen on my channel in the past couple of years. This is a ConTech 56-inch industrial ceiling fan. And this is one of two fans that came from my college. This replaced one of the fans that used to be in the room, which is kind of why it has a bell canopy. I don't think that's original. I could be mistaken though. And the two fans, well, on my video, I listed it as an Emerson Tat. I actually have the other fan, I just need to clean it up. Turns out it wasn't an Emerson Tat. It was actually a Can-Arm Pleasant Air. Which, yeah. But still, pretty cool, because you don't see those in brown too often. So, yeah. Started on low. And I'll bend down here so you can see it. This fan hangs way too low, so this will not be permanent. I have it sharing the speed control with the little leading edge, but I've unplugged that for the video. This ConTech gets the spotlight. So when I got these fans, they were incredibly dirty. There were just wads of dirt and dust coming off these things. Like, it was disgusting. I haven't cleaned up the Can-Arm yet, but I wanted to do the ConTech because this one was the better of the two. The Can-Arm, I think, has a shot capacitor. I'll see if I can link the video in the description so you can see how these originally looked when they were installed. But yeah, it was pretty amazing because the guy who runs the maintenance at my college, he remembered me after all these years. Well, 2 whole years since I graduated. I did shoot a couple texts, but it was great that he remembered to set these aside for me. It was really kind of him because I did try to get that other ConTech. I have a little 36-inch one that looks like a relabeled Can-Arm. And that fan is completely dead. The motor, I believe, is burnt out because the bearings were seized up, and I don't think it ever turned off, even though it was seized up, and no one ever realized. So, yeah. Pulled an old Dayton at Home Depot situation, if you know what I mean. So I didn't adjust the speed trim at all on the control. There's some nasty lens flare, that's gross. I didn't adjust the speed trim at all, so I just kind of left it as is. And it seems to be a pretty good low speed for it. So we'll do a quarter turn. I still have the Banville control. Let's see if we can clean it real quick. Nope, that didn't seem to do much of a difference. Is it better if I turn this off? Oh yeah, that's fine. You can see it. Actually, sorry guys, you can see just what a professional I am. Alright, let's do it another quarter, so that's about medium on the control. Yeah, I couldn't get the original control for this fan, but it's alright. It was just a generic, like, ivory dialed control. It wasn't anything special. Actually, it kind of looked like a hodgepodge of different pieces from Home Depot. Not sponsored, but I could be. So right about now, you can actually hear the bearings in the fan. The bearings on this fan are pretty bad. Which is misleading because this also has just set a record for the longest spin down of the fans in my collection. So yeah, I'll tell you the whole story behind it while we wait for that, because that's gonna be a long time. Crank it up a little more. That was like a 5th turn, but yeah. So I will point out, up until I was on medium, I really wasn't feeling much of a breeze. I want to blame it on the fact it's hanging kind of low, but this is a pretty weak fan for an industrial. Like, that delta behind it probably gives a better... Actually, no, it does give a better direct breeze than this ConTech does. But it is curve-bladed, so it is meant to spread the air. It's pretty fast. Guess I am getting pretty close to high at this point. And we'll go straight down. Oh yeah, that wasn't much left. That was a pretty good sized jump though. Wow. Yeah, what makes this ConTech cool is the fact that it's brown. You don't see these in brown too often. I think one video I saw on YouTube, there was a church that had like 6 of these in them. 5 or 6 of them. I think it was, yeah, it was Dan Spiffy Newman. He had a video where he had like 6 of these in a church, and almost all of them had really long spin downs, so I guess it must be a thing with these ConTechs to have long spin downs. So yeah, this is me standing eye level with it. So I can stand up underneath it when it's not spinning. But yeah, so like I said, this fan is probably gonna come down right after this video. I could cut the down rod, but I don't really have the tools for that, and I'd have to dedicate some time to visit my friend. So yeah, we'll do spin down now. All right, so while that happens, there's a little story behind this fan. Is this, I believe, served as a replacement for the one of the can-arm Pleasant Airs that used to be original to the building. This particular fan is dated 06-93, which I believe is like the 6th week of 1993, or June of 1993, one of the two. Which is kind of cool, because that means this month it is 30 years old. When I lifted the lower canopy on the fan, I discovered balloon string wrapped up in it. And I don't know how that got there, but I guess, because I've never seen them put balloons in that room before, but I guess they made an exception one year. And it was wrapped up underneath it so badly, like you couldn't even see the string. It was starting to get like sucked into the motor. I'm really lucky I was able to get all of it out. I just went in there with a really small flathead screwdriver and just scraped everything off of the top bearing. What was left of the latex in it too was kind of melted to the fan. It was a disgusting mess. Plus you add that and then all the dirt and dust on it. Overall, I'm actually kind of impressed that this ConTech has lasted this long. But yeah, you'll see in the videos I filmed of it. I filmed them a couple times, I think. You'll see that you won't even notice the balloon string in it. It was very well hidden. So yeah, who knows? That could have been only a couple years away from sucking in that string entirely and just destroying the fan. That's my fridge out here, if you're wondering what that is. Yeah. Lost my train of thought, sorry. Oh yeah, balloon string. So I cleaned up the fan. That took me almost 40 minutes because I really wanted to get this thing nice and clean. You can kind of see on the edge of the blades, well, I'm not sure if you could see it right now, but I'll show it once it's done. The paint is all cracked along the edges of it from just use. Like this fan was never used on high though, which was kind of weird. This fan was always set on low. I guess there really wasn't a need. Now that I think about it though, it was noticeably loud on high when people would be taking a test, and that probably wouldn't be ideal to have that when you have college students testing. So at this point I think we're halfway through the spin down. Yeah, I'm honestly amazed at how long this ConTech has lasted, because I think I've heard people say these are actually kind of cheap industrials, and I can see that with the poor breeze it gives and the fact that the bearings sound that bad. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with the fact it's still running at full speed. Oh, and then why this was removed is because they're remodeling the building. The building was built in 1955, and it was renovated for the first time in 1986, I believe, which is when they installed the 2 can-arm Pleasant Airs. Like, that also has a date stamped on it. It says 1386, which is probably the 13th week of 1986. So that's kind of cool. But of course, it's also shows the quality of a can-arm, I guess, because they apparently needed to replace one only 7 years after it was installed, because this one's dated 93. It may not have been 1993, but yeah. Yeah, believe me, this is probably one of the harder parts of a fan video. Waiting for your industrial fan to stop spinning. Yeah, this current can arm, as you'll remember from the video, is only spinning at about 40% of its actual speed on high. I think the capacitor is completely shot, because it's not swollen when I looked at it, which is weird. I'm worried it's something more serious and unfixable, but I'll hopefully replace that. But yeah, I'm going to get that cleaned up, and I'll get it filmed, and I'll hang it in place of this ConTech so you can see that running as well. But yeah, this and the can arm hung together for about 25, 30 years before the building needed to be remodeled again. I don't know if they're putting any fans up in it now, though. If they did, they're probably going to go with something from the Big A company, because the rest of the fans on the campus are all from Big A, so yeah. I did film those ones, too. There were some haikus, I think those 10-foot model fans, and the 8-foot model ones, which I think are called the ISIS fan, maybe? Boy, I'm really running out of things to talk about. This is taking so long. But yeah, for spin down of all my fans, the old record holder was that curved-bladed Agrifan I had, the Platinum line. That was like just under 6 minutes. This fan clocked in at about 7.5 minutes when I had it running and warmed up. I just turned the fan on for this video. Normally I warm up fans for the videos so you can get a good long spin down, but that really wasn't necessary with this fan. It's kind of cool, actually, in that this is probably the first ConTech I've seen in person, and who would have thought I'd end up owning it? Yeah, when the fans would run, I actually helped out with maintenance a lot there. Long story short, it was kind of a service assignment. Every like 2 days or so, you'd be given like a 4-hour shift as sort of a means to keep your tuition low, which was a really cool idea. I kind of like it. So, long story short, I got to do maintenance, and I did a lot of floor sweeping and stuff, especially in that particular building. And I always ran the fans for a good breeze. Ironically, at half the speed, the can arm moved more air than this did, but yeah. And we are finally stopped. So, I'll do 0 to high, and we'll wrap this up. One of the blades was bent, I forgot to mention, because once they were removed, they sat in like a overhang for about a month, no, about a year actually, before I was finally able to get them. So yeah, that probably didn't do the bearings any help. All right, and there you have it. The ConTech 56-inch ceiling fan. You guys can look forward to the can arm in the future. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.